gotta kind of do it solo here.
Okay. Well, it's been, I'll go ahead and fill the guest in. He's, setting up all the cameras right now. It's been roughly 45 minutes maybe. Took a nice little break there. Played a game of chess, which was fun. I tried the old sacrificing the queen move, and because I've seen some higher players do that. They kind of lure them in with a set of trap. They set their queen up for the taking. They take the queen and then they kind of do some fancy maneuvers and then checkmate. Right, they win.
Yeah.
And I tried one of those moves, kind of by accident, where I sacrificed my queen.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily on purpose.
You forgot I was in trouble.
Right, and then I ended up sacrificing it, and I lost the game.
Yeah. Thanks for recounting that. That's called The Queen's Gambit. Have you ever seen that show?
I have. It's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good show.
Yeah.
Do you know what gambit means?
No.
It means you give up a piece, but it implies that it's a trap. So the Queen's Gambit is where you give up the queen early, but it's a trap that leads to checkmate, hopefully.
And that's what I was trying.
Yeah.
Unintentionally.
Yeah, unintentionally you gambited. Yeah. Learn something new every day.
Didn't work out quite the way that we were hoping here.
So welcome to the studio. This is your second time seeing it, huh?
Yeah. It's still nice. It kind of looks very similar to 40 minutes ago. So.
Okay. Yeah. Plants are still doing well. As we can report.
Yes.
I think the problem is they don't get a lot of sunlight. There's one window over there. There's no direct sunlight, that's for sure. Some casual sunlight, but minimal.
Yeah, no sunlight, and then no water too. Because you mentioned, I know we talk about this a lot. You don't water them, and usually plants need water.
Right. Well, I don't.
Okay, you just adjusted the mic. Is this picking up better now?
Yeah, it's picking up a whole lot better. Sorry about that. It looked really cool the way you were doing it. I was like, man, maybe I'll put my mic like that. And I glanced over at the audio, and it was hardly picking up anything at all.
Ah, darn it.
It's very directional. Yep.
Well, how important is it? Is looks better, or is kind of volume? Volume's better.
Volume's better.
We'll stick for this for now then.
Okay, great.
What were we discussing before?
Plants
and watering.
And watering them.
And how important?
Yeah. So actually, I have she probably wouldn't like me calling her a gardener, but I do have a gardener that takes care of these plants, and she also owns the plants. Yes, I don't. I own that one up there. It's great. We're on camera, but you can't see the plants because we frame them out, unfortunately. There's an aloe vera plant up there in a very nice pot, and my mother gave it to me, which is very sweet of her. And I water it once a week, so I take care of that one.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you. And it's doing well. It's green.
That's a good sign.
I mean, you could bring it into frame if you want, just to kind of prove to everybody.
I'd rather just leave it there.
Okay.
Kind of let the people's imagination run wild.
Okay. It's a happy little plant.
It's a happy little plant. So what have you been up to recently?
I put on this hoodie to try to make it look a little different than last time, right? Yep. If we post any videos, that way we're not looking the same. So that's good. It's a little warm, actually. A little warm.
I never knew you were a San Francisco fan.
I don't think this is somewhere in a San Francisco hoodie, as you can see on video if you're watching video. My brother went to San Francisco and he bought this for me. Is this for the team? I think it's just a city. Yeah, ever since 1776. I don't think the football team's been around that long unless I missed a few games.
It beats me. I'm not a huge football fan. I'm usually into other sports.
Okay.
Baseball,
baseball,
soccer, tennis. Tennis. You're a tennis guy yourself.
No, I just turned my hat around. This is the Nashville Soccer.
Oh, soccer. Yeah, sorry. It's
Nashville SC Soccer Club.
It's kind of bright in here, so I guess the reflection off your
hat
was kind of... You watch hockey?
A little bit.
Same.
Yep. I have someone in the house that likes to watch hockey often, and so sometimes I'll catch a game.
Is she the gardener too?
She's also the gardener, yeah. Yeah, and she likes her Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah. Which I think is a little insensitive to everybody that loses their homes every year and, frankly, gets forced into poverty by these tragic tropical storms that are taking over. And they're getting more and more severe as we go. I mean, climate change, we could talk about that, but it just seems like, why are we naming teams? Why are we celebrating this? Oh, go Canes, go Canes. We don't want Canes to go anywhere.
I understand your point of view.
Thank you. What's today's podcast all about? Who are we? Why are we here?
This is I'm CPAWS or Connor. Okay, that's my first name. I can say my last name here. Okay, that's a close one. And you are
Preston.
Yes, and we are. I wasn't asking you. That's our podcast. We've been doing this for over a year and a half now.
71 weeks. I think we finally get a last name reveal though on
think so?
which is exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's today, huh?
Yeah.
We'll reveal that at the end.
Okay.
Shall we kind of got to give a little sneak peek?
Well, technically, I think through the Instagram, if you follow the breadcrumb trail, you could probably find your account, and then from there, it's open season.
But that's an alias.
Well, actually, kind of is an alias.
Yeah.
You spelled your last name wrong on the account, but the
Yeah.
account is your last name.
That's true.
Okay.
It is.
Why don't you just pick a stage name?
Well, my stage name would be. That's a good idea. I got a new stage name now.
Okay.
Spencer Honolulu is my stage name.
Okay, so you're changing your first name too.
Yeah. I already said my first name. Yeah, I'm gonna.
And also, if they type in Spencer Honolulu, they're gonna be able to find your actual Instagram account.
Yeah. Is that a bad or?
No, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we might as well. I don't know why we're trying to be anonymous here. We're kind of already out. We're exposed.
I guess so, right?
We're exposed.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, today is the 25th. I think it'd be cool sometimes to announce the date just to keep track of everything. Although I guess since when you click on the
since we're recording 4 podcasts today,
podcast,
this is a unique time to announce the date.
Yeah.
We just say it's the 25th on all of them.
So this is the second podcast of the day. We took a little mental break and then we kind of worked our mental.
Yeah, it was
chess.
kind of I think it was a good break. So we did one podcast. We went and played a game of chess and then came back. I think that was a good break because we weren't really talking. We weren't chatting. We weren't, making jokes or anything. We were just chilling and stressing our brains to try to win this chess match.
There's nothing funny about that game.
Well, it was pretty funny when you sacked your queen for no reason.
I guess that was
after 45 minutes, an hour of playing this intense game where we're even material, get down to the very end, and you just throw away a queen.
You're starting to get pissed there for a second, right?
I was
kept
getting
putting
pissed.
you in check.
I had a better position, and he just followed me around with his queen for like 15 moves in a row, just giving my king checks, which was very frustrating. Kind of not. He would think for like 5 minutes, and then he'd make a move where I only have 1 or 2 options. So therefore, there's no real reason for me to think. There's 2 options. Pick the better one. That's the end of it. And then he gets another 5-10 minutes to think about how he's going to put me in another check. And then he does it. And then again, I'm left with no options. So I was getting a little frustrated. I was getting a little heated. And I think he saw that, and that's when he blundered.
Yeah, you had some ants in your pants, and I was getting pretty excited. And then, boom, I, sacrificed Queen's Gambit, if you will.
Queen's Gambit, yep.
Yep, Queen's Gambit.
You learned a lot from that show.
Yeah. Should we go ahead and roll the intro?
We should probably say what the show is.
Oh, that's probably a good idea. This is a comedy podcast, hopefully, right?
Fingers crossed. Oh, we're trying. Engagement, right?
Yep. Hasn't been too great lately.
Right, the engagement. Then
the numbers.
We got some tips from your girlfriend, still going strong, hopefully.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
So far.
As of this morning. And she said we're not very funny or engaging.
Yeah, she said she's been clicking off recently, and she gave some good recommendations just for us to be funnier and try to keep their attention longer.
Okay, so we should probably roll the intro.
Let's go ahead and roll it.
But we should say what we're doing.
Okay, so this is a podcast, and we answer questions that haven't been answered. Go on the internet, find questions, damsels in distress, if you will. Right, we haven't mentioned that in a while. Damsels in distress.
What is a podcast?
Okay, this podcast is it's essentially just we're communicating to you via your ears.
Okay. And video this time.
And video. Yeah. So you can check us out on YouTube, TikTok. We on Tinder?
I don't think either of us. Regardless of if we are, I don't think we should announce. We should say no on air.
Okay, let's stick with no.
Because I've dug myself a hole. We're not on Tinder.
No, we're not. No, we're not. No, that was a joke. That's the comedy part.
They're gonna love that.
That's the comedy part.
They're gonna love that.
We are on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I wasn't asking you. We have some good shorts on there, and then are you also starting?
Are we plugging ourselves now? What's going on? Oh, we're introducing the show.
Okay, let's get into it.
Roll the intro.
Roll the intro.
Tony Stark built this in a cave with scrap. I'm gonna go change.
What's up, ladies? I can't believe they let us have phones in prison.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna be right back. How about you entertain him?
Okay, great.
Stop. Acid hot goose bump driven diarrhea right now. But we're well powered through.
What caused that, you think?
I'll power through. It's good to enter on a laugh, so I'll ignore what I just said, and we'll
Okay, great.
Arthur. But it's the coffee. It's the coffee that's causing the acid hot, goosebump driven diarrhea.
Okay.
That's actually a Dr. Disrespect line. You ever listen to him?
Yeah, I've seen some of his clips before.
He's pretty funny. He's I'm sure everybody, well, that's not true. He is a very popular streamer. He plays video games, but he puts on like this mullet and a big headset and like reflective glasses. And he plays a character he's always in character his entire stream, every stream for years and years and years. And it's a very funny, like over the top aggressive character. And he has a lot of funny lines. That's one of them. I'd recommend you watch him, even if you don't like video games, because he's a funny guy.
Probably shouldn't plug him if he's not plugging us, right? You think we should go ahead and do that?
Maybe it will be like a two-way street, right? Because he has like 30,000 live listeners every day, 24/7 that he's streaming. Not 24/7. Every hour he's streaming, he has like 30K people, 50K people.
And so you're thinking if we scratch his back, he may turn around and scratch ours.
He might give us a little scratch.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll plug him then. I like him a lot though too. He's very, very funny.
Yeah, he is funny.
And he's tall.
He's a big dude. He likes to brag about like how big and strong he is, and he actually is big and like he's 6'7". I don't know how heavy he is, but he's like ripped.
Yep, he's built pretty good.
He's built like a tank. Yeah, this guy's no joke, and he has a 37-inch vertical leap.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he likes to brag about that too.
That's not bad.
So that's fun. There's Dr. Disrespect for you.
Do you ever listen to podcasts and then think, okay, these guys know what they're talking about?
Yeah.
Just because they're on a podcast, like, oh, these guys have a podcast, they're a big deal.
Yeah, they afforded some mics and they put the time and energy into uploading this. They must know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I was thinking about that recently.
Okay, and what have you come to?
Well, I was thinking about, okay, like every time I see people on the internet or listen to them on a podcast, I think they're a big deal. Like they know what they're talking about. Then I think about us.
Okay.
And
then same kind of thing. We're a big deal. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel well, like it'd just be interesting to take a peek behind the curtain, I guess, right, and see how they actually feel. Because I know sometimes at least for me, I don't always feel super confident behind the mic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like saying things that are a matter of fact. I feel like you present it in that way though. You're not like, this is a fact. I feel like we're a different type of podcast. I know what you're saying. So there's like some podcasts where they'll have like an expert on and they come and talk about a subject in depth and they like answer questions. It's like interview style. That's like the most classic style of podcast. And we don't really do that. We don't really say anything matter of fact because we don't come prepared with like information and facts of like what's going on. We're just out here like trying to say goofy stuff and get people to laugh.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Or questions. I mean,
or get each other to laugh, honestly.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
That is the goal. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Just a thought.
Glad I could derail you.
Kind of popcorn.
Should we start the show?
Let's go ahead and launch it.
Question number one.
What's the theme?
Theme for today is slip-ups.
Slip-ups. Slippery slopes. We tried, actually, the original theme was board chess.
Chess,
yeah. And then we kind of branched out to board games.
This is a little bit under the hood.
Yeah, this is under the hood. And we couldn't find anything.
We didn't find Jack Diddley Squat.
We were coming up
Well,
dry.
actually, I didn't find anything. I was looking for questions. Connor was playing chess. And he didn't come up with any questions either. We played that one game, he lost, and he was kind of in the dumps, and then he immediately got on the chess app. He downloaded it, started playing chess, and then kind of ignored our other obligations.
Well, I was trying to get inspired.
Yep. But we changed the theme, and now we're talking about slip-ups. Connor had an interesting anecdote about slip-ups. Apparently, he likes to he avoids saying "I love you" to coworkers when he hangs up the phone.
Oh, yeah. So I was telling Prestonian, I've recently had the urge to say "I love you" when getting off the phone with coworkers, and so I've been having to hold back. And I know it's going to happen soon because it's almost happened a couple of times, and I think it's going to be pretty funny when it happens.
So you've never done it?
No, not yet.
I feel like I've definitely done that before. I've definitely said. I just remember a specific time where I said I love you to someone on the phone, just like out of habit of hanging up. And it was kind of a weird situation to explain, but it was my grandma's she used to be in a sort of a relationship with this guy, but he mainly just kind of like helped around the house and she like let him stay there. And so he was like kind of in our lives. He was around us a lot, and he was a nice guy. He's an interesting character. And I was on the phone with him for some reason, and I was about 6 years old, and after I was done talking to him, I was like, "I love you," and he like choked up and went into tears. And he's like, "I love you too, little guy." And I was like, oh no. I was like, I didn't mean to say that. I'm so sorry. I didn't say any of this, of course, but I was just like, okay. And then I hung up and I was like, oh no. I like brought this man to tears and I didn't even mean it. I just said it out of habit, but I'm not going to take it back. I'm just going to leave it there. So I'm glad I could make his day.
Just like me moving my queen. Or not moving my queen when I should have. Kind of making your day.
Yeah. My day. Was my day made? My day was made when you moved your queen.
The game was made.
His day was made before, and I let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Have you ever said I love you to any of your coworkers?
My coworkers? I don't think so. I don't really talk to them on the phone, though, so it wouldn't be like that.
Okay. You said you work in a cubicle, right?
Not sort of. I work at a desk with there's like a kind of like a huge shared desk basically with like a half divider, but it's not like a classic cubicle where it's like the carpet walls that go up like 6 feet or whatever. It's not like that. It's like a really nice area that they have set up for me. But yes, it is in close proximity with other people, and I'm on like the main floor, so you could call it a cubicle. You
like that?
I do. They gave me a super nice setup. They gave me like 3 monitors and like a huge desk space. So I do like it, and I would like it a little bit more if I was closer with my coworkers, but they're not the most social creatures, as it turns out. The computer engineers of the world are not super social. I walk in the morning and like, morning guys, and they don't even look at me. They won't say peeps. I've stopped saying good morning because I got shot down so many times. So to me it's pretty awkward. Like I go in and I sit down, nobody even glances up, and they just kind of do their own thing. I might not even say a word to them all day, and then they'll get up and leave. They don't say bye. They don't say anything.
And they're just right there.
And like if I like leaned, I could reach out and touch one of them, but we don't say anything unless like you need something. You're like, oh, Preston, are you doing something? Oh, can you take a look at that one SQL server? It's acting weird. Okay, yeah, let me know what you find. And then I'll look at it. And a lot of times, like, I'm starting to fall in this trap too. I just realized. But we'll send each other's Teams messages, and we're like a few feet away from each other. But it's like a weird thing where like if someone's like in a workflow state and like you think they're like getting a lot of stuff done, like I have no idea what he's doing on the other side of the computer. He might be looking at memes. I have no idea. But sometimes I feel bad about like standing up and being like, hey, Dan, what do you... Can you help me with this one thing? So I'll just send him a message instead of asking him, as to not interrupt him, because if he can just like swipe away the message, but if I stand up, he's got to stop and acknowledge me. So that's kind of, and I do the same thing with like people across the office too. Like there's this other guy across the office that I often need stuff from, and so I'll find myself almost always sending him a message instead of going over there, even though I'd prefer it, but I don't want to interrupt him because I feel kind of bad.
Yep. Interesting. I started a hybrid schedule where I work remotely Tuesday, Wednesdays, and then I'm in the office Monday, Thursday, and Fridays. I really like the office life too.
Like talking to people, you mean?
Yeah, like that's the main reason, is just getting social interactions during the day.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer working remotely to like just get work done, get in the flow, and then also be able to do other stuff. Like once I get my work done, I can go walk the dog. Or
you don't have to act like you're still doing work. Like you can hurry up, get your work done, and be like, all right, I'm good to go. I'm gonna go do other stuff.
Exactly, because most of the day I'm just pretending to work at the office, and that just is draining.
It is.
So
it can force you to get more done. Like at my job, like I'll finish all my work, and if I'm sitting at the office, I'll be like, all right, well, let me just go invent some work for me to do, and then I'll get some other stuff done, or like do something helpful. Whereas at home, if I'm like, all right, I got all my stuff done, I'll just be like, I'm gonna go walk the dog and play some RuneScape.
Yep. There's definitely more incentive when you're at home to get the work done, and then you can just do whatever you want.
Yep.
But at the office too, we've been recently playing a lot of paper football.
Really?
Yeah. So
you guys have like a conference room where you like hang out, or like a break room or something?
No, I just go to my buddy's office, and we made an Excel sheet yesterday, and we're keeping track of all the games.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so your coworkers are a lot more social.
So the coworkers that I'm talking to, I mean they're almost all of them.
Okay.
So I'm
great.
Yeah, I hang out. There's 2 people that are our age, and so I hang out with them a lot, and then I go downstairs and talk to everybody too. I just make my rounds every now and then. But we spent I mean, maybe an hour or two just playing paper football yesterday, which was fun. A lot of fun.
Wow. Yeah, I think we had like a work party where we for Christmas, we went to Gaylord Opryland Hotel, which is like a big hotel in Nashville. And we had like a really nice lunch there. That was like the most social. But besides that, like in the office, I think one time some lady came over and talked about pressure cookers, and we talked about pressure cookers for like 30 minutes. And that was the biggest social event I've ever been a part of at my office. Yeah, that's as exciting as it gets.
Would you say you're introverted or extroverted?
I would say I'm extroverted. I think I used to be introverted, but now I think whenever I get back from hanging out with friends, I don't crash. I'm like, man, that was great. And I'm like riding a high afterwards. Unless it was like some sort of 14-hour hangout and I'm like, man, I need to go to bed. Like I find myself when I get back from like hanging out with my friends, like we just went and played volleyball and got lunch or something. And I came home, I'm like, man, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Like take a shower and like, seize the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So I'd say I'm extroverted because of that.
I'm the same way. And I think like just having these small social interactions throughout the day or like hour when we're playing paper football, like that's a long interaction. But like I definitely do feel more energized. And I've noticed if I had a job where it was just working remotely, I think I would just get really drained really quickly.
Yeah. That's working remote, it's like you have to find reasons to leave your house at that point. And it's nicer now that I have like more than one room in my house, but if you just get stuck in here, you start going crazy. And I've heard this from tons of people that are like, yeah, I work remote, so like I hardly leave my house now. And I'm like, man, that's kind of sad. That's tough. And even if you're introverted, I feel like you still, it doesn't mean you don't want to go out. It just means you recharge when you're at home. But then your batteries are full and you're like, oh, what do I do with all these batteries? What are you going to do?
RuneScape.
Yeah, RuneScape. Which is exactly why I started playing again, but we don't need to get into that. This is a podcast. This week we're talking... What are we talking about?
Okay, we
answer questions.
We digressed. Yeah, we answered questions. We were actually introducing the theme, and then we digressed.
Yeah. My little pup is getting a little frustrated that you're moving there. She's trying to take a nap, so maybe try to be a little bit more considerate.
Be a little still for you.
Slip-ups.
Slip-ups.
Yeah, because I said that you slip up and almost tell your coworkers that you love them.
That's right.
And I've never even gotten close.
Okay.
Well, I don't really talk to him on the phone, though.
Well, you don't talk to him at all, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you're probably saying, almost everybody you talk to on the phone, you're probably saying love you at the end of it. Most people.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What percent would you put it at? People, you get, let's say, 100 phone calls in a year. Probably more than that. 300 phone calls in a year. What percent of those are you saying I love you at the end of them?
30%?
Really? That's it?
40%? Yeah, maybe.
I think mine's lower than that, but I thought yours would be higher. Because I don't know why I think that now. I don't know why I thought like most of the people you call is either like your mom. Do you say I love you to your mom every phone call?
Every time we say bye. Yep.
Okay.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay. I don't do that every phone. Usually if I'm out of town or I haven't seen her in a little while, I will. But if it's just like, hey, do you need me to pick anything up from the store? I'm on my way over to the house. She's like, no. I'm like, okay, see ya. I'm not like, love you, bye.
You don't include okay, love you, bye. A quick one?
No, I don't do the quick one usually. No.
It's definitely a habit. But yeah, I do that with my mom, with my dad, with my sister. Been doing it with Maddie Joe. And those are the people that I talk to the most.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, that's most of your phone calls probably.
Yep.
Anyways, this is a podcast. We're just like having like a very like regular conversation, nothing to do with the podcast at all. That's all right.
Stumbling, slippage.
We all like a little slippage now and then. Yeah, you're gonna slide right out of that. It's kind of slick, isn't it?
A little bit, right?
Yeah, oil it up a little bit, see what happens.
Snake oil on it.
Yeah.
You got any questions?
Yeah. All right, I got a few. Let me shop and see which one I want to
see what you got here.
Pick here because we're probably gonna get one each. So let me pick my best one. So I can do the one about the affair. What are some tricks to get someone to admit or slip up and confess about having an affair? That's one of my questions. Or how can I get How can you get a scammer to slip up? I've been talking to him for 15 months. He accepts that I won't give him money. I've even found the person he claims to be, but he still says he is the real deal.
Wow, so they've had a long. That's dedication to continue talking to this scammer for that long.
Yeah, let's go with this one. This is so you've been talking to a scammer for 15 months. I'm trying to imagine how this goes. So they're trying to, I guess, catch this guy, put him away. This scammer was trying to get some money out of them, but then realized he accepts I won't give him money, is what they say. But he's still talking. I feel like this is like a weird love story or something. Something's blooming out of this.
Oh, Shots is not very.
She doesn't agree with that.
She doesn't like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd bet a lot of these scammers are persistent, so like they won't give up easily. But 15 months is a long time for you to keep trying to get money.
Yeah, maybe they don't have a lot of clients.
Okay. One thing I also realized is the car salesmen are the same way. They are very persistent.
Oh yeah.
When you express interest in like a Jeep or anything, or just theoretically a Jeep, they call you almost every day.
Yeah.
Until you say I'm not interested anymore.
Mm-hmm. You have to tell them stop calling me.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, okay, I'll stop.
Yeah, because I mean, I bought my new Jeep, and then for 3 weeks after that, I was just getting calls every single day about other Jeeps I was looking into.
Mm-hmm.
And they would not stop. I would just leave them unanswered, and then eventually I had to answer them and tell them like, hey, I'm not interested. I got a Jeep recently.
They'll do it for like a month before they stop, because might be a sale, might be a couple $100. If you're looking for a car, they have cars, and they're gonna try to sell you one. Yeah, that happened to me a lot, and I eventually decided it wasn't the right time to buy a car. And they all want your information. It's just like insurance companies too. Like when you're shopping for insurance, and they're like, oh yeah, give us your email and name, and we'll give you a quote. But then they constantly hound you, and agents will be calling you. Yeah, those guys they're hungry for it.
They try to slurp it up pretty good.
15 months.
15 months
with
that's
the scammer.
A long time. So there may be something else forming behind the scenes here, is what you're thinking, huh?
Maybe
a little romance going on.
It could be something. It's like, oh, I'm doing something bad. And he's a bad boy, right? And she's the goody two shoes, and she's trying to get him in trouble. Oh, you can't get me in trouble though. Oh, I might try to steal your money. Give me a little bit of your cash.
Stop it.
Yeah, and she's pushing him away. She's too smart. She's not.
Hard to get.
Oh, can I get in your wallet? Can I get in your wallet? Smack.
Yep.
Out of there.
Yep. Just a cat and mouse game.
Yeah, a little cat and mouse. Little cat and mouse. That's a good way of putting it. So something might be happening here. I'm not sure. Because if you're trying to catch somebody for 15 months, it seems like you're not going to do it. She's trying to get him to slip up, but it seems like you would have given up by now. Why do you care that much? You got to be more interested for another reason.
Right, she's trying to get him to slip up. In what way?
I don't really. I guess finding out his real location so she can report him to the police. But I don't even know if that's that helpful. If a lot of times these scammers as long as they're not in the United States, where I'm assuming you live, there's not really anything you can do about it at all.
Unless you take matters into your own hands.
Go on.
Okay. So unless you kind of get your own kind of stuff going on behind the scenes, you start loading up on maybe get a pair of boxing gloves and start training for
where this is going.
6 months to a year.
Okay, you put in the work.
You put in some work. You put in some effort.
15 months.
15 months. That's only. I mean, you still have 3 months pillow, right? If it's 15 months, you train
That's
for 6 to 12 months. You have 3 months pillow. Then you track their location, okay, and then you take a plane, preferably cheap, right? You don't want to spend a whole lot of your money.
Okay, yeah. You already put a lot of time in this. You want to save on the budget.
But you're going to go one way.
One way.
You're going one way.
That's a little bit of a cheaper flight, but how are you going to get home?
You're gonna go. You're not. That's not an option. You're not going home.
It's not an option.
Okay. Home. This is a one-way trip. You catch what I'm saying here?
Okay, I'm a little worried, but go ahead.
Have you seen Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I've seen it.
You know where I'm going with this, right?
Nobody committed suicide in that movie, though.
But it was essentially a suicide mission.
But they got out alive, all of them.
Did they?
Yeah.
This is different.
Okay.
This is a one-way trip.
So you're not making it out alive.
You're not making it out of here.
You're taking out the scammer at all costs.
You are going to go on this scamming ship, theoretically, and you're going to sink it with everyone on it, including yourself.
Okay.
With a pair of boxing gloves.
Why can't you get out?
That doesn't make us it doesn't punch as hard.
So you're trying to kill this guy. You're not just trying to put him in debtor's prison.
I mean, if you want to, but I was thinking, what's the best way to make sure he doesn't do it again?
If he's in the grave, he's not doing it again.
Punch him right in the kisser, right?
Okay.
Punch him right in the kisser. That may stun him for a little bit, but he's gonna get right back on his feet. He's gonna grab the phone and start calling other people.
I think he's gonna try to fight you back.
You think so? These scammers are pretty persistent, though. That's what we've been talking about. They're persistent little.
He might go
boogers.
back to work the next day, but I think he's gonna try to fight you in that moment. If I walk up to you and I punch you in the mouth, I don't think you're gonna pick up the phone and say, "Hey, come to the dealership. I got a hot Jeep for you."
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening. I think you're probably hitting me back. You're probably calling the police, reporting some sort of malfeasance.
But okay, so say the next day rolls by and you're gonna show up, right? It's sure you have a broken nose, but your mouth is working fine for the most part.
Okay.
Unless I punch you right in the throat, right in the sphinx.
That could work. Oh, hold on. I think you just stumbled upon something here. You punch him in the throat. He can't talk. He can't scam. He starts doing chat scams. Less effective though.
That's true. So if he starts doing chat, you gotta punch his computer.
Okay.
How just get a new one?
That's where the boxing gloves come in.
Yeah.
But then you got to worry about a one-way flight back. But I don't want to advise anybody to harm themselves, so I'm not going to do that. You can say whatever you want on this podcast. Free speech.
Okay, great.
Might get you in some hot water. Right? You said last podcast you didn't like the homeless or whatever. In this podcast, you're advising people to hurt themselves. So I'd watch your step.
No. Not hurt themselves. Hurt the scammers.
Oh, you're saying Suicide Squad. You're saying go in with a bomb strapped to your chest, get on the airplane.
Well, I didn't say that per se.
Well, you said buy a one-way ticket.
Right.
And you said Suicide Squad. I'm assuming you said take down the building with you inside the ship.
That was a metaphor.
Okay.
You sure I'm going with this?
I'm worried that your advice is illegal and harmful.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be harmful for the scammers here.
Okay. I just don't want anybody to get hurt.
It's gonna harm them right in the esophagus.
I want all cherries and rainbows.
You want to punch him right there, and his airway is gonna get. He's gonna do one of those kind of actions right there. Okay.
And he'll stop scamming for good. So this person can't find him. It's been a long time. I think either ask him out on a date, right?
Back to the romance.
Honestly, if I don't think that's too far off. I think there's something there. If the scammer knows, like, okay, like if I was literally just trying to scam people and I was like, went on for a while, I'm like, okay, this person's on to me. They're trying to report me. They're not going to send me any money. I'm just going to move on. But I'm like, oh, man, this lady sounds pretty nice on the phone, actually. And, wait, I'm seeing her Facebook profile picture here, and she's not too bad looking, right? I'm in Bangladesh, but heck, that's a one-way flight. It's only $4,000. And maybe she sends me that $4,000. There's different ideas that are popping in my head.
Sure.
And so if she invites him on this date, either A, the date works out pretty well. They get together. They have a couple kids. Happily ever after.
Wow.
Or B, date doesn't go too well. Boom, you have him his location. You have him in the States, and then you can persecute him. You can bring him into a court of law, put him through the system. He's going to do a couple of years.
When are the boxing gloves coming into play? Because she spent all those the cash.
This is separate.
Training. Oh, she didn't train yet.
This is separate. There's no training involved in this method. This method, you just get them over and you test the waters. You see if this relationship has legs. I mean, you've been going at it for 15 months. You got to figure it out one way or another.
So you're kind of trying to do some slippage here. You're trying to slide into his DMs.
Yeah.
Get him heading overseas to the U.S.
Yeah.
You take him out.
Get him on a plane.
Take him out to maybe Little Caesars. See.
Maybe something a little nicer. First date. Where are you taking somebody on a first date?
Mayway.
I don't know what that is. Is that a brewery?
It's a not quite. It's a like a Chinese restaurant.
Okay. Is that like a little strip mall Chinese place with no seating?
Yeah.
You just kind of
You gotta stand and talk.
Okay.
Just chat.
That's kind of a fun experience.
In the middle of the
So, guy from Bangladesh is coming over to the United States, and you want to introduce him to American cuisine via cheap Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, you get some orange chicken, double entree probably. Right?
Okay.
That kind of hits the spot. Fried rice in there, and y'all just
we
chat.
should do that.
Y'all just chat.
There's a side note. There's a sketchy Chinese joint in a strip mall really close to here that has a really good orange chicken. And they have lunch specials.
And I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry just talking about it.
That's great.
Sorry, this is an aside. I think we answered that.
Yep. I have a question.
All right. Yeah, go and put that anywhere you want.
What is the one habit that you stumbled upon by accident that changed your life?
I don't know what this has to do with the theme, but I like that question.
I slipped.
Oh, okay. Slipped into this habit that changed my life. The first one that comes to mind is I have a large amount of trouble waking up in the morning. It's really easy for me to stay up all night if I need to. Like, if I got to get some work done, I can stay up all night. I'll power through. I can get it done. If I have to wake up in the morning, it's hell on earth, and that happens every day. I have to wake up every day. It's really hard for me. No matter what, it seems like no matter what time, if I have to set an alarm of any kind. Like, I'll set an alarm for 9:30. I'll go to bed at midnight. That's 9.5 hours of sleep. You think that's plenty?
Yep.
But my alarm hits at 9:30. I'm like, there's no way I can wake up right now. It's terrible. So one of the things, I try to schedule my time in the morning super tight. So for instance, right now I wake up at 7:15. I have to be at work at 8, which means I need to leave at about 7:45. So I set a 7 o'clock, 7:05, 7:15 alarm. They all go off. I snooze them until it gets to 7:15. Sometimes I snooze that one. I try not to do that. Try to get up at 7:15. And then I have 30 minutes. I got to take out my dog. Got to make coffee. Got to get ready for work. Got to get out the door. I hardly ever get out of the door on time. But the thing that helps is not getting dressed twice. So I sleep in underwear. So instead of getting up, putting on my sweatpants, taking out the dog, I get up and I immediately put on work clothes. So I put on my work clothes and then I take out the dog, and that has saved me time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting habit.
Yeah. It's kind of small. It seems like not a big deal, but you're getting dressed twice. That saves you like at least 5 minutes.
You shower in the mornings?
No, shower at night. I don't like going to bed dirty. And you got a dirty bed, and you know your skin's gonna be looking like all whack, and your bed's gonna smell. It's gonna reek of anchovies, what have you, whatever you're getting into the day before. Who knows?
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're a shower in the morning kind of guy.
I am. Although I like showering at night when on the weekends I do, just to relax.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there. My habit that I would say that I do is I've been trying to listen to audiobooks during the day.
Okay.
And during working out. And
Do you feel smart saying that?
I do feel smart saying
Do you
that.
feel like a philosopher, like I'm better than you because I read virtually?
Yeah, good for you. You know, put work clothes on when you wake up. I've been
You snot-nosed 25-year-old kid?
Yeah, I've been listening to audiobooks. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
that's been helpful.
Okay, so you have a subscription to Audible.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you one book a month. Are you just getting one new book a month and you're rereading the old ones until that new month rolls around? Or are you buying multiple books a month?
That's what I do is I just get one book and then I go listen to the older books that I've already listened to, just to try to soak it all in again. Because you can forget most of the material that you learn.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty valid. It's much, for me, it's way easier to re-listen to songs than it is to books. Which it seems like it's kind of the same vein. It's just like an audio that you enjoyed. But for a book, it seems more difficult, even though it'd probably be more educational. But I find it hard to re-listen, so I'll listen to all the books, wait a month, listen to another book. That's what I've been doing. Yeah. But I prefer paper books. I'm kind of I don't know if it makes me like a classic guy with kind of rustic appeal. With, I got grease on my hands. I just got done working on the car. I'm on the skateboard. I come up for air for a second. I'm like, oh, you're going to need a new carburetor. I don't know if that makes me that kind of guy. I got the veins popping out of my forearms. Wow. Geez, I must be dehydrated.
Golly,
boy?
Yeah. Sheesh.
Yeah.
I've never seen you work on a car before. Or with oil on your hands or anything. So.
Yeah. It's rare.
Yeah.
I have worked on my car before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's some stuff going in there.
Uh-huh.
I would really like to this is total sidetrack, but I would really like to get into working on cars. I would love to have a garage and like the equipment and tools needed. I really want to get like a 65 Mustang and just like be ready and able to fix it up. Because those things you gotta tinker with them. I tried to get one and that was the result I found. They don't just turn on like today's cars. You gotta tinker around a little bit.
That'd be inconvenient. Yeah, I feel the same way, and I think it'd be cool to be able to work on cars and know exactly what the issues were, and to be able to fix them with your own bare hands.
Yeah, kind of be a man's man.
Yeah, man's man.
Your AC's broken? Let me at it. let me take a peek. Your car's making a sputtering noise?
Uh-huh.
Let me open up the hood. Yeah. I'll figure it out.
Your toilet's clogged? I did that. Let me fix it, right?
Yeah. You're the guy that can kind of get it done.
Yeah, you can say that.
Welcome to Bright Side, everybody. This is Bright Side of the podcast where we talk about the brightest sides of our weeks. Connor, what's the brightest part of the last 45 minutes for you?
Oh, yeah. So the brightest side of the last 45 minutes, Well, the last podcast was fun.
Yeah.
So
that was a good time.
That was fun.
Under the heat lights. Heat lights? Heat lights. Heat lights? I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of lights in this room. I feel like this one felt a lot more. I feel like we're getting used to the set.
I think
like
so.
this. And if you imagine this, you moved to Nashville, hypothetically speaking.
Okay.
You moved to Nashville. You live down the street. You live in my basement, for all I care. And we just record like this every week. Seems like an ideal situation.
It'd be pretty cool.
Or you live in the van, you live in the parking lot.
Or you take this studio, you put it on wheels. You come to Huntsville.
This is a big studio.
Yeah.
Lots of moving parts.
Uh-huh.
Don't think it would work well on wheels.
Hence the van. It's moving.
I don't think it would work on a van. What if we... This is a long shot.
Okay.
You know how the Earth shifts on continental plates? Are you familiar with this?
I'm not very.
So the Earth's crust is made of a bunch of plates.
Yes,
it's kind of what causes earthquakes, tsunamis, things like that.
Yes.
The continents shift a little bit every year because of the plates. I won't bore you with the details.
Thank you.
What I'm suggesting is we drop a series of nukes along the lines of these plates to try to crack them open. We lost the camera. We're running out of time here. It cracked them open to where the plates go together and our houses are suddenly much closer together. But there's going to be a nuclear fallout zone.
And you think there's going to be casualties?
We could no. We can tell people to move beforehand, right? This would be a courtesy call. If you live between Tennessee and Alabama, get out of Dodge. You don't want to live anywhere near that state line.
Right.
And we'll give them 6 months, a year to get out of there, get stable jobs elsewhere. The government will pay for the whole thing, and we'll nuke it.
Seems like a lot of red tape would go behind. A lot of dots we're going to have to...
It's a project.
Yeah.
You need a good project manager. And I know a few guys, but I think it's possible. You get it done. I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid of getting grease on my hands. I think I made that clear. and just look at the veins. I mean, I'm vascular as ever.
That is something else. Yeah. So bright side. Bright side. Well, filming. There's
just pick it the last week.
I'm kind of limited here. Okay, I'm kind of limited here, kind of like I limited you with when I put you in check. Okay, my options are limited, but I would say another bright side would be probably filming the first podcast here.
That's a good choice of the last 40 minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another one that happened this week. So I went to that stand-up. That was one of them. Poker night last night.
Boom, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Connor got up here in time, had a couple people over, and I invited my dad over this time. He's always been a poker player as long as I've known him, which is a pretty long time, mind you. He used to play online poker on the computer all the time. I don't know that he ever really went to tournaments, to my knowledge, but he's played a lot, and we always have played it like as a family, or like when we have extended family over, things like that. So I know he's pretty good. I invited him over last night, and knowing that he would have a good chance of winning. But I was hoping I could beat him because I've gotten a lot better. And it got down to it. It was me and he was still in there, and there was a few other people in, and I had a pretty decent hand. I had a 3 of a kind. There was a possible straight on the board, and I was like, I don't think he has it. He went all in, and I called him. I was like, I don't think you have it. I felt like I read him pretty good, and I was right. He didn't have it at that point, but one more card came up, and it was the only card that could make him win, and he got lucky on that last card, and he got it. So he beat me again.
And you didn't seem happy after that.
No, just because if anybody else had gotten it, I'd be like, oh, okay, tough luck. But because it's my dad, and I've always tried to beat him at poker, and it's very far and few in between where I can beat him. And I really wanted to get in a heads-up situation where it was just me and him at the end, because I feel like I've practiced a lot, and I understand a lot better how to win on these situations. But he got me on that river, and I was like, man, that really sucks. And then I was out, and he ended up winning, of course.
Yeah, he took you to the cleaners there.
He took me to the cleaners.
Yeah,
so that was a bummer.
Yeah, so the river, for people who don't play poker, is with Texas Hold'em, it's the last card flipped.
Yeah.
And so he had a very low chance of winning. Prestonian was winning he had it in the bag pretty much. And then last card came over, the only card that could have made your dad win, and he got it. So.
Yep. I mean, that's just how poker goes. He got it,
yep.
And I did not, so I lost, and I'm a sore loser. But we'll do it again soon, and I'll take them to the cleaners next time.
That'd be nice. I'll tell you what, your gardener did really well last night.
Yeah. She's a bit of a poker player / gardener / what was the other thing that she does?
Plant waterer.
That's gardener.
Oh, that is. Plant waterer, gardener. What else did she do?
There's a third thing. She don't like us talking about her on the podcast anyway, so we don't have to worry about it.
But she's kind of getting a little.
Yeah, she was getting real shaky. That was interesting.
Yep.
Getting real excited about the game. It's a fun game.
She was taking all of us to the cleaners. I mean, she was getting full house, straights.
She was taking souls.
She was taking, and yeah.
As David Goggins would say.
She was doing pretty well. But that was a good Brett sound.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. This has been another episode of I Wasn't Asking You. This episode will come out Wednesday, just like they come out every Wednesday.
Peace.
Deuces.